Alright, up next is another requested video. This is my Kenmore Quick Clean bagless upright vacuum. I've had this now for about maybe 6 years now. Could be longer or it could be shorter than that. But I did remember picking it up from the thrift store for $10. And this was the condition it was in when I found it. The only real issue with this is that if you look closer to the hose, there's some tape around it because there's actually a leak inside of there. But other than that, it's also missing, I guess, what appears to be a dusting brush slash upholstery nozzle, similar to you'd find on the Bissell's, because this is in fact a Samsung built machine. If you look in the back here, the model number shows the first 3 numbers of who manufactured Kenmore's, and 401 indicates that this is in fact built by Samsung. So pretty much like all other Bissell's, this is pretty much a cheap budget upright that you could have found at Kmart, and I believe Sears too, but I did remember for a fact that these were sold by Kmart because I seen one of these before along with it was like a maroon Quickscape model or Cleanscape, I can't remember what it was, but it was also a Samsung built unit. That's a 2-motor unit. And then I also did remember at that time there was like a orange slash white Kenmore canister, which was definitely built by Panasonic. But anyways, I've actually wanted one of these for quite a while. I was actually nearly close to getting one of these as a birthday present back in 2010, but I ended up getting the Panasonic NCCG 3-to-1 canister instead. But I mean, I did like the looks of it, especially for the fact that this is one of the last Kenmores that had the older style logo on, which is my all-time favorite Kenmore logo ever. I definitely could care less about the one they currently use today. But like all other Bissell's, I mean, despite being cheaply made, it's a pretty decent machine. Not as good as the predecessor model of this, which would be a TDI built foam-made distributed model, which is essentially a dirt devil, and definitely not as good as the Panasonic built machines, which in my opinion were their best ones they sold. But again, still a decent built unit. I mean, as long as you took very good proper care of it, it would have not been a bad choice. But this is like one of those machines where if you have one of these and if you like it so much to where you want it to last a long time, well, pretty much this is like a must, where every time you would vacuum with this, that not only you clean out the canister as best you can, but also wash the pre-filter every time you'd vacuum as well. Because if you fail to do all of that inside of here, you're going to have dust leaking out of the motor and out through the filter. And as you can see here, like all of the Bissell's, or at least some of them, they use this very thin layer of filtration in these type of filters, which I really dislike. But at least it's slightly better than nothing, but may not even make a difference at all. So other than the missing attachment right here in the hose. It also doesn't have a belt, so you're not going to be hearing that on this rug. And like all other Bissell's, they use this very cheap plastic brush roll. It's a decent one, but this is like one of the shortest lifespan of brush rolls I've ever seen. Because it's not because that the bristles wear out. It's simply due to the fact that the plastic and the end caps are so cheap that even if something were to not get caught in the end caps with the high rotations per minute in the end caps, they would just easily melt away and just starting to cause some bearing issues. Or not only that, but just make the brush roll rattling from all the melted plastic from inside of there. So, I mean, collector slice, I mean, I like it based on the looks of it, but definitely I would have not bought one back in the day. No. But at least I do appreciate that it's got a 4 height adjuster switch, unlike my other Kenmore I did a previous video on. But even the Bissell's, they had more height adjuster selectors, which I prefer. And even some of the Bissell's, like my Power Force bag, for example, uses a bag, which I much prefer over the bagless design. But other than that, not too much to talk about. So, like all the Bissell's, I mean, they are decent, but they are definitely not my favorite. I get that there are so many of you out there that really do like these, which I highly do respect, but these are definitely not my favorite. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and plug this in. Definitely wouldn't mind finding the Cleanscape version one of these days. Other than that, I can't think of any other Kenmore that was built by Samsung, but I do know that I've seen or at least I've heard of a Kenmore that was built by the same company that makes machines for Singa, had one point made a machine for Bissell, which I would like to see evidence or proof of that one of these days, at least based on the packaging of the bags. It did say that the model did exist at one point. So without further ado, let's go ahead and turn this on. Like my heavy duty model I did a video on just a little while ago, just shortly after picking this one up, there was another quick clean that popped up in the thrift store that, had I would have known, I would have passed up on this one and could have gone that one instead, because it definitely had a better hose to where it didn't have any leaks on, and it seemed to be in better condition than this one as well. But this one's not too bad of a condition. However, definitely I would have not bought the other one and had two of these, because this is one of those machines where I don't even care about having two of them. It's just simply for the fact that I just don't care too much about these. So anyways, hope you've enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.